I would like to start off with a proper introduction to myself. As strange as it sounds, I come to you standing here before you without a name or form. I intentionally chosen to have my apparent identity remain unknown or anonymous. The name Spiritually Anonymous is simply a contemporary spiritual symbol, teaching us to look beyond our given birth names, our beliefs, social roles, cultural conditionings, and worldly attachments. My background or personal story, race or gender is completely inconsequential, insignificant. I do not belong or support a specific group, race, political status, religion, or organization. I am a firm advocate of the message being more important than the messenger who is imparting it. Who and what I am is of little value in the greater scheme of things. If you can get past me on the finite level of form, this may open a doorway within you into clear seeing. This way you can be able to hold the content in which I'm conveying. I, like all of you right now, exists in two states. One is the appearance of life through the identification with physical form, with the erroneous belief of a separate, distinct person to facilitate the function of the mind-body autonomy. That is done for the purpose of functioning, socializing, experiencing, and surviving in this world. The other state that you exist in is a non-local, invisible field of conscious life energy. It's infinite, it's timeless, it's indivisible and indestructible in nature. This is the changeless, primordial, undifferentiated source of all life made manifest. Throughout the world, many names were attributed to this source, such as God, Jehovah, Allah, Brahma, the Tao, to more contemporary names as the unified field given to by quantum mechanics, the singularity, cosmic consciousness, life, existence, truth, and so forth. It is vital to realize that we are not separate individual persons. Although we play that role, that is not the whole story. We all emerge from the same source. We are the one eternal, formless source, diversifying itself in the multiplicity of forms being expressed. We live in a collective world to which people, places, titles, groups, religions, books have been placed as a greater value over the changeless, formless, eternal essence of life itself, consciousness, that which both animates and ceaselessly gives rise to all the glory that we behold and experience through our mind and senses. Today I'm going to speak on a very important topic concerning the fallacies of spirituality or enlightenment. What I'm about to say can be a very touchy subject for those who are curious, starting to discover their spiritual path in life, for those that claim that they are already on their spiritual path, and for the ones who believe that they have found themselves, in other words, already becoming spiritually enlightened in this world, and has a grand mission to enlighten others. To understand what true spirituality is, it is imperative that we must first fully be open and humbly understand what it is not, with the pitfalls and misconceptions that surround it. This is due to a large amount of misinformation out in the mainstream on this subject. You could find on the internet, YouTube, through spiritual books, and so forth. Spirituality is not about a part-time casual affair for mere spiritual tourists. It is not an appendage to our lives or a spiritual goal to be attained in the future. It is not an attachment or a dependency to self-proclaimed gurus and religious books, whether you're having honors for them, reverences, or paying homage. It is not about being a vegan or a vegetarian or whatever diet you feel is prescribed to make you more spiritual. It is not about chanting mantras being a channeler for aliens, angels, and incorporeal entities. It is not about identifying with any particular religion, tradition, or spiritual group. It is not about joining ashrams or communes, saving the environment, or becoming a social movement against this or against that. It is not about creating or attending self-help seminars, workshops, retreats. It is not about buying into trendy new age products and services out there in the market that are for sale with the supply and demand at hand. Packaged spirituality. It is not about following a particular cultural dress code, dressing up in robes and garments or lack thereof. It is not about spiritual truce for financial gain or fame or popularity to being in the spotlight. It is not about finding a soulmate, somebody that can be able to fulfill your desires or, in a sense, make you happy or complete or whole. It is not about seeking a permanent state of peace or happiness. It is not about having no desires in life to claim. In other words, having the appearance of being desireless. It is not about possessing ancient, sacred, occult knowledge, having psychic powers, or in exalted states of consciousness. It is not about a certain sense of specialness or self-importance. It is not about practicing various yoga and meditation techniques. It is not about choosing an Eastern or Western philosophy. Spirituality is not about the total annihilation of the mind, becoming egoless to yourself and in the eyes of others. It is not about doing certain spiritual practices or behaving in a certain way to impress. It is not about using or depending on psychedelic drugs such as LSD, DMT, mushrooms, calling it spiritual. It is not about being from another advanced planet or dimension. It is not about self-promotion, telling others that you are enlightened or awakened. Realize that when enlightenment is real, there is no body to claim it or to broadcast it to others. That is just the ego in disguise. It is not about claiming to be a guru, spiritual teacher, a life coach, an Eastern or Western master of non-duality, and so forth. True spiritual knowledge and wisdom can only serve in showing the way, but you have to have the power of discernment to rightly divide the truth from the illusions within it in order to prevail. It is likened to a finger pointing to the moon. All words about the truth are only mere fingers pointing to the moon, but do not accept the fingers as the moon itself. After all, it is not the finger pointing to the moon that's important, only where it is pointing to that matters. The moment you start attaching and obsessing and despising or having personal bias to the fingers, picking and choosing, then you have completely missed the whole point. The fingers were not the point. The point was the moon. I'm only here to deliver a message, and it is the message that's most important, not the messenger. It is a huge undertaking to raise social awareness and getting people to go beyond their personal attachments, distractions, and addictions and identifications with form. In identifying with the ego mind, you will continue to remain unconscious, limited, divided, and imprisoned. Only through the state of divine love, emptiness, stillness, and silence can one be overflowing, full of infinite abundance from Source itself. If you really truly want to be spiritually free, you will have to humbly drop all these mind-made form concepts and beliefs that you've attached to your formless essence and melt into divine presence. In other words, emptiness, devoid of images, devoid of belief systems, devoid of all emotions that tie you down to this reality here that you're presently existing in. When all form identification has been dropped from your awakened I am essence, the vast emptiness of pure, eternal, unborn presence will only remain.